Hey Gert. Hello. Gert! What? Hey. You seem busy. Yeah, there's just so much work to do. Sometimes I just feel like melting. Hey, pull yourself together. Since you're having a hard time, mind if I help you? Sure. Okay. Um, the next question to my assignment is, after Robespierre's development of schools, how did the routine of the working class children change? Okay, how did Robespierre develop schools? In July 1793, Robespierre drafted an education policy. The system is similar to what we have today. A child learned physical exercise, manual work, clothing and food, reading, writing, passages of poetry, eloquence and philosophy, arithmetic, principles of universal morality, laws of the country, and civic study. He believed that schools should be workshops and that this was one of the monuments which the convention owes to history. The system would train children to be strong and independent. The best part was that all social conditions were welcome and suitable to be part of the system. This was Robespierre's mold in forming a new generation. But he needed money for the expenses of these establishments, so he passed the children's tax. He taxed most of the upper class, and little by little, the rich stripped off their wealth and the poor became educated. Oh, that's nice. Let's take a closer look on what a normal day looks like for an 18th century working class child. As we all know, children were encouraged to begin supporting themselves at an early age. During the Revolution, infants were considered as poor, sighing animals who died young. For the early months, they were tightly wrapped around cloth. Since their parents had to go to work, babies were often left unguarded for long periods. But these practices helped protect the child from being bitten from animals, especially pigs. Strong bones were developed, and this helped keep the child warm. Aside from milk, infants also ate a mixture of pap, containing flour or breadcrumbs and water. Age 7 was when a child started exploring the world around them. They sang lullabies, counting games, and riddles. Children improvised toys from everyday materials and created their own fantasy worlds. But to keep children out of danger, adults usually relied on fear. They told folklore stories of boogeymen, trolls, werewolves, and other mythical creatures. Parents passed moral and religious values by strictly enforcing them. Even babies and infants who broke the rules had to face punishments. Most children left home at this age to work. An old proverb states, rise at 5, dine at 9, sup at 5, to bed at 9, makes man live 10 times 9. Children were already working like adults, so they followed adults' footsteps. After rising, a person ate breakfast, which was usually cheese, bread, fruits, and cold meats. It was a light meal. Their lunch was called dinner. It was between 9 and 10 in the morning, and at around 4 in the afternoon, they had supper. Many enjoyed soup of meat or chicken. Those who liked sweets accompanied their meals with preserved ginger or cherries. Children in hospitals or orphans also had the same menu. Teenagers usually escaped from their family to spend more time with their friends. Boys and girls played at the fields or on the streets. Young boys formed gangs with their own sets of rules. They took oaths like, if I lie, I go to hell. Gangs promised each other loyalty. Betrayal equals punishment. If a comrade betrays a gang, he was beaten and spat upon. On the other hand, girls had groups of twos or threes. They were tied more closely to home. Young people spent most of their time working, but playing also played a vital role in their childhood. They usually played King by Early, which is hide and seek today, and Sun and Moon, tug of war. Children lacked hygiene in their everyday routines. Running water did not exist, so people only took sponge baths. Toilets were usually chamber pots or just a hole in the ground. Waste was usually dumped at the streets. A simple walk through Paris would leave a person ankle deep in a disgusting mixture. Most people did their laundry by hand. They brought their dirty clothes to a river or stream and scrubbed it using rocks. Soap was homemade. It included animal fat and ash. Dental hygiene was also a big problem in the 1700s. Most people's teeth rotted, and the dentist was just a glorified tooth puller. Ew, that's gross. Well, after Robespierre's development of schools, how did these practices change? Well, not much documentation survived after the Reign of Terror, but the Enlightenment was able to change and prove the superstitions of the people, and eventually change their practices. Robespierre's education policy was also supported by the children's book trade. Here, both schools and leisure reading was able to socialize the young. Robespierre's education policy was able to make the children literate. Charity was also spread through the message of the books. Though the pictures were stiff, the moral of the story was communicated to the readers. For the very young, images are more powerful than words. The routine of the children changed because school was able to replace their work. A child was now able to search their skills and interests by the different subjects of education. After Robespierre, more powerful leaders were able to continue his education plan, like Joseph Lacanau and Napoleon. Wow, thanks for the help, Bon. You're welcome. What about you, classmates? Do you think Robespierre's development of schools greatly impacted the society?